offensive line that is an absolute wreck. All 5 of these guys were starters, 4 of them were tackles. They're all out. So Jake Locker may be tucking the football and running.
Today's game is being broadcast in Spanish where available using the SAP button on your television. Tennessee won the toss. They will receive to start this football game, week 15 of the NFL on CBS. Ken Whisenhunt in his first season on the Tennessee sideline. His team has lost 7 straight games, the longest active streak in the NFL. Leon Washington, the former Jet, back deep to receive the kick from Ryan Quigley. And we are underway in Nashville. Washington will take this one out. And Washington wrapped up at the 24-yard line, and Jake Locker will come out for the Tennessee Titans. Just his 5th start of the season, his first since October 5th against the Browns.
And Jake Locker, we sat down and talked with him yesterday. You could kind of tell there was a little peace about him, understanding the magnitude of this situation and really realizing how fortunate it is to get this opportunity to play these last 3 weeks of the season to kind of reconfirm that he can play.
Locker will start in the shotgun. Bishop Sankey, the rookie, right next to him. Locker to throw on first down, and that pass is caught by Nate Washington, who gets to the 31-yard line, a gain of 6. As we take a look at the Tennessee starting offense, and Steve Tasker just mentioned it. Both tackles are new. Svitek on the left side. Meredith just signed on Tuesday, starts at right tackle. And Kendall Wright will not play today because of injury. Derek Hagan starts at wide receiver.
Well, Hagan's going to have to help out. Nate Washington has really played well against the Jets, but he's going to need some help from Hagan on the other side.
That's Hagan in motion. Sankey again at running back, and they give it to the rookie Sankey, who's got a first down for Tennessee. Look at the Jets defense, and with Wilkerson out, Quentin Coples will start at defensive end again for the Jets. David Harris, 13 tackles to 1,000 for his career. What a career it's been. And Phillip Adams starts at corner in favor of Darren Walls, and also you see Calvin Pryor is starting for DeJuan Landry.
And this secondary for the Jets has been torched quite a bit this year. Phillip Adams making the 3rd start there. Rex Ryan hoping he'll be the answer.
Now here's the former Jet Sean Green on the carry. He was inactive last week, and he's had really a quiet season for Tennessee. Just 30 yards rushing in his last 8 games, and Rex Ryan told us yesterday that's not the Sean Green that I coached in New York.
Yeah, he thinks that Green has changed a little bit. Not quite the physical runner that he once was, but nevertheless, and he has been quiet here in Tennessee. But you know, there's a couple of guys on each team that are, you know, they circled this game on the calendar when the schedule came out.
Locker, quick pass to McCluster, and he's tripped up right away. Coming up to make that tackle was the rookie Calvin Pryor.
Oh, that's a heck of a play by Calvin Pryor. Great recognition. You know, Dexter McCluster on the outside is they're gonna try and create ways to get him the football. You've always got to be aware for those quick passes. And also up front, Calvin Pace told us yesterday they know that the Titans are going to be trying to get the ball out of Jake Locker's hand quickly because of all the problems Steve Tasker documented up front with this offensive line.
3rd down and 5 for Tennessee. They are last in the NFL, converting just 28% of their 3rd downs. Locker steps up and now fires it to Durham, incomplete. Good pursuit again by Calvin Pryor.
And this is one of the issues. Then you knew that Jake Locker was going to have to be ready to shuffle out of the pocket. Not bad protection to begin with. Locker buys a lot of time. Well played once again by Pryor, forcing Locker to back off the line of scrimmage and try and make the throw. That was a great defensive play by the Jets.
So once again, Tennessee fails to convert on 3rd down. They are last in the NFL in 3rd downs for the 9th straight week. This is not something new. It's Kyle Wilson back deep to receive the punt from Brett Kern, and also behind him is Curley. And he'll take this one and slips. So Curley brought down at the 7 after a 53-yard punt. Jets backed up deep for their first drive when we come back.
In the NFL, the Tennessee Titans
Tennessee Titans, you knew, based on what has happened in recent weeks, the Jets are going to come after them up front. They've got themselves now, though, stuck in a 3rd and long situation.
Percy Harvin lined up at wide receiver. Matched up at the top of your screen with Jason McCourty. Smith on 3rd and 9, dumps it down low. There's a flag down. Bilal Powell makes the catch. Tackled at the 15, short of a 1st down. Today's referee is John Parry, our first penalty of the game.
We're going to have a choice between 3rd and
Holding.
much longer,
Offense, number
or
66.
4th and short.
Penalties decline. Result of the play, 4th down.
Yeah, we talked to Rex Ryan yesterday, and we also talked to Geno Smith, and they had the same thing. There's 3rd down is the issue. The problem is if you're not very good on 1st and 2nd down, 3rd down follows suit, and that's what happened on that series to open the game for the Jets.
We apologize for some technical difficulties. That penalty was on Willie Colon, and the Jets go 3 and out. 5th time this year Colon has been called for holding. So Quigley is on to punt it away to Dexter McCluster. McCluster from his own 35. Splits 2 tackles, trying to get to the outside, and he's tripped up. Coming up to make that tackle was Bilal Powell. Tennessee back on offense when we come back. Back in downtown Nashville, no score. 1st quarter between the Jets and the Titans. Jake Locker has lost 5 consecutive starts at home. Last time he won was last September of 2013 against the Jets. In fact, Locker in his career is 2-0 against Gang Green. Not much doing on this running play on 1st down. Locker started the season as the starter here in Tennessee, but as has been his problem throughout the years, injuries took a toll, and they went to Zach Mettenberger, 6th-round pick out of LSU, but Mettenberger got hurt last week, and he's now out, so Locker back in as starter. How about Tennessee? Since 07, they have not had the same quarterback lead them in passing in 2 consecutive years. Last year it was Ryan Fitzpatrick who led Tennessee in passing yards. Locker to McCluster. Across the 40 and tackled at the 42-yard line.
You know, you come into a game like this with both teams being so far down on the win column. There's a lot of stories that are happening in New York and here in Tennessee that are more interesting to the fans than the actual outcome of the game. You mentioned in the open that both these clubs, looking at the standings, they're in the hunt for the 1st pick of the draft. Both these coaching staffs, now Whisenhunt is in his 1st year, Rex Ryan not so for the New York Jets. A lot of things flying around about their organization and what their future holds for the immediate future.
3rd down and 4 for the Titans. Locker. He's going to keep it himself. He's got the 1st down. Well, that's one of the things that we talked to Jake Locker about yesterday, and certainly injuries have been his problem, but he told us that running is his weapon, and he's not going to change no matter where he is next year.
And you see the athletic ability. It does scare defenses because he can hurt you, and especially on these 3rd down situations, he knows exactly where those sticks are. And you talk about the injuries, and we talked to him about this yesterday. He made the point that most of his injuries during his career have come inside the pocket. He gets a lot of grief about running and putting himself at risk, but he gets hurt in the pocket.
2nd carry for Sean Green into Jets territory, still going to the 45-yard line before Jarrett finally takes him down.
And in the 1st series against it, when the Jets handed it to Chris Johnson, I was actually making some points about the offensive line. It was the Tennessee offensive line that has the short menu. They've got, we saw in the open, 5 guys that started for them in the offensive line, 4 of which were tackles, are out of this game. They are down to Jamon Meredith, number 79. He was signed on Tuesday of this week, and he's starting for the Titans. That's not optimal.
Trying to get something going with McCluster, and a busted play there for Tennessee. Not much doing, but we spoke to Ken Whisenhunt about all these injuries that Steve Tasker was just mentioning. He said in 26 years he's never seen this many injuries, and he also said his team was not deep coming in. And while John Idzik is certainly feeling the heat as the Jets general manager, Rustin Webster, the Tennessee general manager, also feeling some heat down here in Nashville.
Well, you don't get a new head coaching job like Ken Whisenhunt did if the team is set to go. They were thin coming into this year. They were trying to rebuild their roster, so you knew it would be hard. But injuries have also crushed them.
3rd down and 8 for the Titans at the Jets' 49-yard line. Locker flushed out. Keeps the play alive, fires on the run to a wide open Washington. Defender fell down, and Nate Washington has a Tennessee 1st down, a gain of 26.
This is Jake Locker at his absolute best. There aren't many quarterbacks that are going to be able to avoid this sack. Look at his ability to keep his balance right there. A lot of guys wouldn't have been able to keep it going. Get outside, makes a nice throw on the outside to the guy who has been a backbreaker for Rex Ryan and the New York Jets the last couple years. Nate Washington had 4 catches last year for over 100 yards, including a 77-yard touchdown. Rex Ryan told us we have got to stop number 85 in the passing game.
4 career games against the Jets. Washington has 3 touchdowns. It was Phillip Adams who fell down on that play in the Jets' 2nd down. Sankey tackled from behind by Demario Davis as we get closer to 6 minutes to go in the 1st quarter.
That last big play to Nate Washington, the Jets sent 6 guys. We talked to Rex Ryan. When you're facing an offensive line that's as depleted as Tennessee, what's the plan? Do you send just 3 or 4 guys knowing that they can't hold up even with 5 guys blocking, or do you send the house thinking you're going to make the play right then and there? And he said, we'll do both. And in that play, the big play, they sent 6 guys after Jake Locker. But if you got an athletic quarterback, sometimes it bites you.
Flag is down. Locker again to Washington. And he is tackled at the 11. That's good for a Tennessee 1st down if it stands. And it looks like this is going against Tennessee.
Illegal formation, offense, number 79 was not on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Will replay 2nd down.
That's Jamon Meredith, who, as Steve Tasker said, he signed on Tuesday.
Well, those tackles start to inch back off the ball, and Meredith was lined up in the backfield because he was so afraid of the speed rush on the outside. He starts to cheat his stance, and there you see. Now, he's played 20 games over the last couple of seasons, but this is 4th team this year.
9th team in 5 years. Locker fires right. Washington with plenty of room, slips a tackle, and he picks up the 1st down. It was Adams who was playing off of Washington, and Locker found him for a gain of 14.
Just poor tackling. They had a chance to keep him short of converting there, and I believe it was Demario Davis that had a chance. No, actually it was not. It was Phillip Adams again making a play that cost his team a conversion, significant yardage. You got to make that tackle in the open field.
Tennessee 21st in red zone offense. The Jets defense has been an issue this year in the red zone, 27th in the NFL. McCluster up the middle, and he fights his way down to the 8-yard line.
McCluster's an interesting player. You think he shows flashes of stuff that that nobody else can do, but you look at the way he's been used. He had 2 catches last week for 10 yards, no rushing attempts. He totally disappeared. And that's the problem with if you've got a guy like that, and the Jets see it with Percy Harvin. You'd like to get him the ball all different kinds of ways, but it just becomes too much of a good thing, not enough of a good thing.
It's the 12th drive this year of at least 10 plays for the Titans. And now that's a bad snap. Locker falls on it. Only thing he could do. And some boos from the few fans that are actually here in Nashville.
Well, this one just got away from Chris Spencer. You see the ball. Jake Locker never had a chance. Did a good job just to get on top of this football. And you know, when you're a bad team, as the Tennessee Titans are this year, and the Jets as well, that these things seem to happen a lot more frequently. You got a good drive going. You're down inside the 10-yard line. You're thinking things are going well, then something like that is one of the most basic plays in football becomes a major issue.
A loss of 16, so it's 3rd and goal from the 22. Locker pressure coming, had to get rid of it. And coming right up the gut was Quentin Coples, forcing Locker to get rid of that quickly, and Tennessee will have to settle for a field goal attempt.
Yeah, Coples comes right up the pipe from the defensive end spot. had his hand on the ground, took an inside rush, and just ran straight to Jake Locker's grill.
And one of the most important things for offensive line, as a football person knows, is the communication, identification. You got so many new parts up there up front for Tennessee. Obviously a miscommunication up front almost cost them the sack.
Ryan Succop 13 out of 16 on the year, kicking field goals. This from 40 yards, and the kick is good. Just tucks it in, and Tennessee is on the board. The Titans lead 3-0. Just a great moment a short time ago here in Nashville. A surprise military family reunion. The family of Staff Sergeant Larry Hayes thought they were being honored with a Salute to Service Recognition Award, and then Staff Sergeant Hayes surprised his wife Asuka and his kids Benjamin and Jessica, and that is just great stuff here in Nashville. Can't get enough of that. So 3:16 to go, first quarter, and Tennessee with a 3-0 lead. Actually rare to see the Titans with points on the board in the first half. They had not scored points in the first half in each of their last 2 games. In fact, they have the fewest first quarter points in the NFL this year.
Well, it's like a litany of negatives for both these teams offensively. Almost any statistic you want to bring up, you're going to find they're ranking near the very bottom.
Percy Harvin will not return kickoffs today, according to Rex Ryan. This is T.J. Graham. And Graham out to the 15-yard line. Geno Smith coming back right after this. Jets looking for their first road win of the season. They lost all 8 on the road in 2005. They lost all 7 back in 1964. Tennessee only has 1 home win this year. Geno Smith out of the gun. He'll throw on first down. Steps up over the middle, and that pass is caught by Jeff Cumberland. Well, tomorrow on CBS, a special holiday episode of NCIS Los Angeles, so full of surprises, everyone will be talking about it. It's a jolly new NCIS Los Angeles tomorrow at 10/9 Central, only CBS. Gain of 9 for Cumberland, so it's 2nd down and 1. Geno back to the air over the middle, and that's caught by Decker for a first down. Tackle made by Michael Griffin, but a gain of 13 for Eric Decker.
Well executed play by the New York Jets. A good play action. Eric Decker, the big physical receiver on the outside. The window wasn't too big. You see Griffin right there breaking on. That ball had to be thrown on time, on the money. Geno Smith had a nice clean pocket, delivered a strike for a nice game.
First down of this quarter for the Jets. Chris Johnson spinning his way across the 40. And Rex Ryan told us that he thought Johnson would be popping out of his skin today for this one. 6 seasons in Tennessee, over 1,000 yards every single year with the Titans, including over 2,000 back in 2009. He's the 3rd leading rusher in franchise history, and he was a little upset with the way he was dumped at the end of last year because Tennessee did not cut him right away. He ended up signing with the Jets, 2 years, $8 million. In trouble. Rolling right. Flag is down. It's caught by Sudfeld. Going down the sideline. This one likely coming back, but Sudfeld all the way to the 15-yard line. There are 3 flags back at the line of scrimmage.
And this is going to be a hold on the Jets.
Holding. Offense, number 68. 10-yard penalty. Replay. 2nd down.
That's on the right tackle, Giacomini.
And this is just... It happened so early in the play as Geno Smith breaks contain. You're going to see him come out, and Giacomini just doesn't release Morgan fast enough. Derek Morgan trying to spin out of the block, and 3 flags flew in simultaneously. Couldn't get away from it. The free agent from Seattle, Giacomini, trying to help Smith get to the outside, and that's exactly the kind of thing that has plagued this Jet team.
It wipes out a 43-yard gain to Zach Sudfeld. It backs up the Jets to the 31.
That's one of those hidden yardage things. A 43-yard gain becomes a 10-yard loss.
Final minute of the first quarter. That's Johnson out in motion to the slot. And now a whistle and delay of game against the Jets.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
And that's an awareness thing, you know, but that also goes to the coaching staff as well, because the quarterback, when he's getting down inside that 7.65 second mark, if the coaches are aware as well, they can call a timeout on the sideline. But I'm not passing the buck. It always starts with the quarterback. You see it more often with a young quarterback. Geno Smith has got to be more aware of that situation.
So now it's 2nd and 21 for the Jets. Good protection, Geno over the middle, incomplete. He's looking for Jeremy Curley.
Yeah, this week Geno Smith was a little run through the ringer in the New York media for telling people that he had swung all the way from being Pro Bowl, flashes of a Pro Bowl quarterback, to not such a good quarterback, and he kind of got a little bit beat up by it, but really his point was true. I've stood on the sidelines for a couple of Jet games this year and this one as well. There are times when Geno Smith slings it like anybody needs him to. The guy can make all the throws, and then there are other times like that one where you wonder who he was even throwing the football to.
3rd and 21. Smith will keep it himself, and the Jets will punt. And Geno told us that as soon as he said the Pro Bowl flashes, that he knew that was a trigger word that would create headlines, and yes, he was right. And he said that's not his point. He knows that he's not at that level, but he is very confident in himself and believes that one day he can be a Pro Bowl quarterback, but certainly not at that level right now, as we have zeros on the clock, the end of the first quarter, with the Tennessee Titans leading 3-0. Two drives for Geno Smith and the Jets. They've only gained 36 yards as we start the second quarter here in Nashville. 4th and 19 for New York, and Quigley will punt it away to McCluster. McCluster from his own 20. McCluster, as a flag comes in, and McCluster all the way up to the 43-yard line. Return of 23 for McCluster, but now we await the call from John Parry's crew.
During the return, illegal block in the back, return team number 36. 10-yard penalty, 1st and 10.
It's on Khalid Wooten, who was just promoted off the practice squad by Tennessee. As we take a look at the up to the second standings in the AFC playoff picture, the Patriots clinch the AFC East, the Colts clinch the AFC South today, and Denver can clinch the AFC West if they can beat San Diego. Right now, Denver leads San Diego 3-0.
And that game is in San Diego as well, so it makes the task a little bit tougher for the Broncos.
Big win for the Bills today to get to 8-6 as they beat the Packers. On first down, Tennessee keeping it on the ground with McCluster, who's seen a lot of runs so far in this first half. He only played 5 snaps on offense last week in the loss to the Giants. We've seen a bunch of McCluster so far, and there's an injured Jet down on the field, and that's the rookie Calvin Pryor. Starting today for DeJuan Landry. So clock is stopped with 14:30 to go, and we'll step aside here in Tennessee. Jets first round pick Calvin Pryor still on the ground as the medical staff attends to him, and he just sits up, which is certainly a good sign.
Well, Pryor remains down. If you get we'll get a quick look at it right here, and he'll kind of go down, slips there, goes down, and then the pile goes out. It looks like it almost gets his shoulder caught up almost, but I don't know what it is right here now.
Now watch his head.
Yeah, his head goes down, and it's impossible to tell what the issue might be as he's starting to walk off the field.
So we certainly hope the Jets' #1 pick, 18th overall in the 2014 draft, is okay as he slowly walks to the Jets sideline. And now Dewan Landry will come in to replace Calvin Pryor. So Tennessee with a 1st and 10 from its own 36-yard line. They lead at 3-0 with the Steves, Berline, and Tasker. I'm Andrew Catalan, our entire NFL on CBS crew. Sean Green running on the right side has some room. And Green with a gain of 8. On 1st down, Darren Walls makes the tackle.
You can see Sean Green walking over and slapping hands with Chris Johnson, those two guys trading teams in the long run. Sean Green started his career as a Jet, and of course Chris Johnson we've been talking about as Sean Green got tackled out of bounds, walked up to Chris Johnson. They both laughed and slapped hands, realizing they've traded uniforms.
2nd year for Green here in Tennessee, does not have a 100-yard rushing game. 3 carries, 17 yards so far today, and they go back to Green, and that time he doesn't get past the line of scrimmage. Sheldon Richardson bringing down Green.
Sheldon Richardson, what a pick he was last year out of the University of Missouri. 3 sacks last week, and one of them for a safety in their game. And this is a very stout run defense, 5th-ranked run defense in the NFL. So Houston's going to have to try and find ways to make plays through the air. One of the issues they have, though, is with Kendall Wright down today, they only have 3 wide receivers active. That's pretty thin.
Saw the Jets training staff still attending to Pryor on the Jets sideline. 3rd and 2 for Tennessee. And Locker misfires. Leon Washington was wide open, and Locker wants that one back.
Yeah, this is one of those throws that Jake Locker really wants back. You got to make this throw. Sometimes the easiest throws are the most difficult when you know a guy's wide open. You kind of aim it a little bit right there. All he's got to do is get that down and catchable for Leon Washington, and that's an easy 1st down.
Yeah, he throws this one high and inside. It's got to be low and to his outside shoulder. That was just a bad toss.
Jeremy Curley back deep to receive this punt for the Jets. Curley calls for a fair catch at the 6-yard line. Jets trying to get something going on offense. They trail 3-0. Jets owner Woody Johnson is here in Nashville today, and he has some major decisions coming up over the next few weeks. His general manager John Idzik on the left, head coach Rex Ryan on the right. Steve Berline, if you were Woody Johnson, who would you bring back next year as the Jets start this drive on their own 7-yard line?
Well, there's a lot of different schools of thought on all this stuff. I think most people recognize the fact that Rex Ryan most likely will not be back next year. The big question is around John Idzik, and has he built enough of a case for himself inside that organization to warrant giving him another draft, another opportunity to bring in some impactful free agents. So far, it's been very, very questionable at best.
Geno Smith in trouble, and there he lost the ball. Ball came out. Jarrell Casey was the man that got to Geno Smith first. It looked like he was going down for his safety, and then the ball popped out.
Yeah, I don't know if he was trying to get the ball out of the end and make it look like he was throwing a pass, or if it popped out of there.
Yeah, well, this is one time when you hope Geno Smith fumbled the ball if you're a Jet fan, because this is going to turn into 2 points, and he throws that ball out of the end. That's intentional grounding, and that's going to be a safety.
Fumble.
And if I'm
New York,
Ken Wisenhunt's got to throw the red flag and challenge this, because that was nothing short of a forward pass.
It's called a fumble on the field.
Yeah, that's, if you got to challenge that if you're Ken. There he is. Ken Wisenhunt just threw it, and Geno Smith flips that ball forward deliberately in the grasp of Jarrell Casey.
Previous play, the fumble.
This is going to turn in
a forward pass from the end zone. If it is a forward pass, it would be a safety since the foul occurred in the end zone.
Now the question is, was his knee down also before he threw the ball out? See, is that, no, his knee does not touch. That right knee almost did, but I think it's a safety.
Yeah, this will be overturned.
After reviewing the play, prior to the knee being down, it was a forward pass from the end zone with no eligible receiver in the area. Therefore, by rule, It's a safety. Tennessee is not charged with the first team timeout.
So it turns into a penalty, and Mike Carey, part of our CBS staff, can you walk us through why they can go back and then call a penalty in replay?
Well, in replay, no part of intentional grounding is reviewable. So this, in my opinion,
Well, that is
a
the
mistake.
question, is whether or not you can go back, and you ruled it a fumble.
They ruled
When
it
you rule it
a fumble on the
Yes,
field. Jarrell Casey pulls him down, and no question, it is intentional grounding, but there was no penalty called because the official thought the ball was knocked out of his hands.
And correct. Since it's clear that it's a pass, the only reviewable aspect is it complete or incomplete, and that should be an incomplete pass. Intentional grounding is not reviewable in this particular case.
That's exactly
So
what
I
we were
think
talking
this-
about. You can't go back and say, well, it was a forward pass, so now we're going to call a penalty.
But they did
Correct.
that. But they just did
Yes.
that. So in
Yes,
your
and
mind, Mike, you don't think they got that right by the letter of the law?
They did not get that right in this situation.
Well, they got the call right, but they did it in such a way that it should have been illegal for the referees to do that, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Well, I don't. Then there's your question: is it better for them to get it right, or is it better for them to follow the rules? In this case, we thought that it was going to turn into it should have been called intentional grounding, but was not, and that's going to be an interesting story that follows this game after it's over.
Mike Carey,
Correct. What
thank
you want
you.
to be is consistent.
So a free kick and the ball is out. Good times continue to roll here between the Jets and Titans. And no signal yet. Jets indicating that they have the football. But again, we have not seen a signal.
And that is, I don't care if you're 2-11, 0-16, or 16-0. You're fighting for the ball and your life under that pile.
Still trying to sort this one out. And it is Jets football. So
TJ Graham comes out of the bottom of the pile with the ball.
The ruling on the field is a muffed free kick recovered by the New York Jets. 1st and 10, New York.
So after that call really goes against the Jets, it shouldn't have been intentional grounding with the safety. They get the ball right back.
So it hits Graham first. He's on his back. It rolls over, and the ball pops right to him there underneath. And then somehow, some way, he comes out with that thing.
Leon Washington, one of the most reliable return men in the history of the NFL, took his eyes off just the last second as that ball was getting there. That's what caused the fumble. Or the muff.
So Washington with his 3rd fumble of the season, but the first time he's lost a fumble as he muffs the free kick. And now the Jets with great field position at the Tennessee 40-yard line.
And Leon Washington there. You don't get that many opportunities on special teams, and when you have a huge mistake like that one, man, it sticks with you. You have to sit over on the sidelines and stew about it until the next time you can actually get on the field, and that's an uncomfortable spot to be in.
So 5-0. Tennessee on top of New York. 12:04 to go first half. Smith to the air on first down, sets up the screen to Chris Johnson. Flag is down. Johnson, following the block of Cologne, gets all the way inside the 25-yard line. Michael Griffin makes the tackle, but this penalty appears to be going against the Jets.
Pass interference, offense number 33.
Oh, wow.
10-yard penalty, replay, 1st down.
It's a screen pass.
So Chris Ivory is down the field blocking before the ball comes out of the quarterback's hand. And we've seen a lot of this year where teams get discombobulated. Right here, he's going to come out and get ahead of the screen pass and Chris Johnson and engage the defender down the field before the ball's let loose in the backfield. And that technically is a penalty, although the timing is bang, bang.
Jets now have 4 penalties for 31 yards in the first half. Ivory on the carry running left. And we go back to New York. Mike Carey just spoke with the Vice President of Officiating, Dean Blandino. What did he have to say, Mike?
Well, what he said is that John Perry, prior to the announcement of the fumble, said that if it was a pass, he would have ruled intentional grounding. So that puts intentional grounding in play. And so when he goes into the booth and sees it was a pass, he can go with what his ruling would have been prior.
That's interesting, because if you set it up before you actually see the play in review and you say, hey, if this happened, we are going to call a penalty, that to me does make sense. And that's
correct.
You got that ruling right and correct.
You got it right.
I got you. That makes sense.
All right, Mike, thank you very much for your assistance back in New York. As Decker makes the catch, it'll be 3rd down and 9 for the Jets after a gain of 10 by Decker. A lot going on for a game between 2-11 teams. Jets are 0 for 2 on 3rd down in this first half.
Nice 2-1, we're in the hole.
Smith with time over the middle, and it's caught. But well short of the first down is Decker. Michael Griffin immediately makes the tackle, and it's 4th down for the Jets.
You could sense that Geno Smith wanted to get this ball pushed up the field and take a shot at picking up the first down. Great job by the Tennessee Titans secondary. Nobody was open, forcing Geno Smith to take the check down, and then a nice tackle by Michael Griffin, keeping him well short of converting.
Yeah, the Titans did a nice job of keeping the lid on the defense in the secondary and forced Geno to pump it, hold it, and just not have to go short for the pass.
So on 4th and 5, Rex Ryan sends out Nick Folk for a 53-yard field goal attempt. He's 2 out of 3 from 50-plus this year, and Folk, no good. Just a hair short. And the Jets still scoreless with 9:24 to go in the first half. Folk needed a hair more on that one. It's still 5-0 in favor of the Titans. Back in Nashville, 9:24 to go first half. Jake Locker and the Titans have a 5-0 lead. They'll start this drive at their own 42-yard line. Locker hit as he throws, and it's incomplete. Now let's go back to after that missed field goal by Folk and take a look at what he did as he walked to the sideline. He was putting up 3 in his hand. 3 fingers on each hand. And then Louis Aguiar, the assistant special teams coach, comes over, and those two get into it a little bit.
Look, Folk can't believe it. He said, I told you my number was 52, not 53. And I told you you hit it 52.
And he's saying, well, hit it from 53.
Right.
What the heck?
Right.
The kickers, they speak their own language anyway. Who knows what they were saying?
Locker to Delaney Walker to midfield.
Louis
Tackle
Aguiar
made by Darren Walls.
The assistant special teams coach, Louis Aguiar, you saw in the picture right there, is a former punter. So I don't know that they probably speak some sort of the same language, don't you think? Isn't that a dialect thereof? Folk very unhappy walking off the field, as you would be as a kicker, missing a kick right down the pipe and having it hit the crossbar.
Never a dull moment on the Jets sideline as it's 3rd and 3.
It's a pretty frustrating day.
Locker to Walker, and great tackle made by DeJuan Landry. Immediately hitting Walker and stopping him short of a first down.
Well, this has been an area of frustration for Rex Ryan. 3rd down defense, normally the Jets calling card this year, been very, very poor. One of the worst in the NFL, but right there, a really nice play by Landry and a 3rd and short situation. But Rex Ryan was openly frustrated talking. He said, that is the area where my teams have always dominated. This year, not so much.
Well, they did a nice job there, but it always helps, too, when the offensive line of your opponents are kind of a wreck.
Kern kicking to Curley. Fair catch at the 10-yard line. 7:58 to go, second quarter. Jets trail 5-zip. 7:58 to go, second quarter. Tennessee leads 5-0. Rex Ryan told us that 2 years ago when he played Ken Whisenhunt's Cardinals, it was the worst game he's ever been a part of. Jets won 7-6 with Greg McElroy throwing the game-winning touchdown. He called it a pillow fight against Ken Whisenhunt. I don't want to know Rex's thoughts so far in this one, as it's 5-0. Tennessee on top of the Jets. Chris Ivory on the carry and not much doing. McElroy beat Ryan Lindley in that game.
Yeah, who now is the starting quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals with the injuries of Carson Palmer and Bruce Stanton. Right here, just a good physical play by the Tennessee Titans defense. A little bit of extracurricular there by Patoa Tua.
Former Jet. Gino, play action, and that pass is caught by Owusu, just his third catch of the season. We mentioned off the top that many fans of these teams think the winner today is actually the loser, as they chase that #1 pick in the draft. And not good news for Jets and Titans fans who feel that way, as Tampa Bay, Jacksonville, and Oakland all lost earlier today. So the winner today is in trouble in terms of the #1 pick. 3rd down and 1. Jets have not converted on 3rd down yet. Gino pitches it to Johnson, and Johnson has a 1st down.
There's so much going on in the Jets organization. We spoke to Rex Ryan yesterday, and you mentioned it just a moment ago, how the players are really still playing, and that's been the mantra with the Jets, is they're going to take some tempo here. The players on the Jet team really love playing for Rex Ryan. They have, even when they were going to championship games, and of course it's continued even though these last couple of seasons have been extremely rough. The players love playing for the guy, but that has not translated into wins.
Now Calvin Pace told us he wants to finish strong for Rex. Pressure coming. Gino gets rid of it quickly, and Powell spins away from one, but then wrapped up by Woodyard. Well, tonight, our dangerous mentally ill patients denied care. A 60 Minutes investigation tonight, only CBS. Talking about winning today. It's actually, you're losing. Breno Giacomini said, what, we haven't lost enough this year? You want us to keep losing? Losing right now, 5-0. 2nd down and 7. Ivory at running back. And the Jets give this to Percy Harvin. And Harvin has a Jets 1st down.
You see Harvin as he comes around this end around. He's another big question mark that follows this Jet team, as he's going to come from this direction. Did they bring Percy Harvin back, a guy who came into the Jets midseason with a little bit of baggage, a little bit of stuff going around there about he wasn't a great teammate? The Jets have said they've been extremely happy with him.
Now the direct snap to Ivory. And he gets around the edge on the outside, shoved out of bounds by George Wilson. Well, it's definitely a decision for the Jets on Percy Harvin, one of many decisions they'll have to make. He's due to make $10.5 million next year, and he told the New York Daily News that he would not accept a pay cut to come back and play for the Jets. So what do the Jets do with Percy Harvin?
I think they make him a free agent. I don't think they've seen enough of him, and I think as hard as he's played, he's been on his best behavior.
Ivory again goes past Klug and out of bounds at the 45-yard line.
Well, I think when Percy Harvin thinks about it, when push comes to shove, he's going to probably reconsider that stance that he's taken. Of course, it's a poker game a lot of times in these situations, but there's nobody's going to give him $10.5 million at this point. I don't think, based on the fact he's been hurt so much during his career, and he's been the baggage that has trailed him from Seattle to New York, I don't think he's going to get that kind of a contract. I think the Jets, if they make him a fair offer, might have a chance of bringing him back.
And Geno Smith just throws this one away. The other thing to consider is who's he coming back to as his quarterback? And that's got to factor in to his thought. Who's his coach? Who's his GM?
That's right, and that's the big question as well. And you talk about, and we said that, hey, Rex Ryan's a great players coach. The players like him, but let's face it, this has been, they've run their course here in New York, and there's a lot of people, the big question is how deep is the knife going to cut in New York? Is it going to go all the way to the general manager spot, John Idzik?
It's 3rd and 5 for the Jets. Geno Smith fires left to Decker right at the sticks, and with that spot, he's got a first down.
You know, this so much swirling around, and I do not think you bring Percy Harvin back for $10.5 million without a quarterback in place. You spend a lot of money on Eric Decker as the #1 receiver. A lot of people think Eric Decker's a good #2 receiver, but not a #1 receiver. And then there are other issues as well, and I don't think overpaying for a Percy Harvin, who is a flashy player on the offensive side, I don't think he's consistent enough to earn that kind of, or merit that kind of paycheck.
Chris Johnson on the carry. 4 first downs on this drive for the Jets as we tick inside 3 minutes to go first half.
Well, on that point, though, the Jets are going to have a lot of cap space next year, between $35 and $40 million. So they're going to be able to go out and get some people. But the problem is, do you invest it into a Percy Harvin like that, or Eric Decker? Another, I believe you do need another #1 receiver.
Winning teams don't waste money.
Geno looking for the deep ball to Harvin, incomplete.
But my point to you is I don't think that is wasting money. If you find a way to get Percy Harvin to agree to a lesser salary, you've got money to spend. You brought him in here. This is a team that has desperately needed playmakers. This guy had 6 catches for 124 yards last week.
I get you.
Minnesota. He can play the game.
I get you, but here's the thing. He's got to take a pay cut.
No doubt about it. I agree.
He's got
100%.
to take a pay cut or he's gone, and you don't look back.
I agree.
Third down and 9 for the Jets.
No safety back for the Titans defense.
Geno again looking for a deep ball, incomplete. TJ Graham, the closest receiver, and it's 4th down.
Graham never saw the football coming.
Well, you're going to see there's absolutely no safety back here in the middle of the field. There's nothing going on back there. And so that means the blitz. They did come with pressure. Geno Smith did the right thing. He rushed it a little bit, though. He had a little bit more time. Could have let his receiver get a little bit over. TJ Graham, I think, might have won over the top and could have found that football if Geno would have held it for a split second longer.
Third punt for Quigley. McCluster drifting to his right. Fair catch at the 5. There's a flag down, and Quigley got hit.
Yeah, that's an easy call for the official. He got full body blocked, coming up right through the middle.
Running into the kicker, number 58. Penalty's been declined. First down, New York. Timeout on the field. Correction, Tennessee.
First down, Tennessee. When we come back, it's Tennessee football as the running into the kicker was only 5 yards, not enough for a Jets first down. So while we were away, Rex Ryan changed his mind, thinking, hey, wait a minute, 4th and 3. Now I've got a 51-yard field goal attempt, so I'm going to send Nick Folk out there, and that's exactly what he does. Remember, he missed from 53. This one from 51. And he is good. Barely, but he's good. And the Jets are on the board with 2:08 to go. It's 5-3. So Rex Ryan sending Folk out, and it pays off. We've got a 2-point game in Nashville. Rookie quarterback Blake Bortles and the Jaguars take on these Titans in an AFC South clash on Thursday Night Football live on NFL Network, and then the season wraps up with a special Saturday edition. Philadelphia at Washington on NFL Network at 4, and San Diego at San Francisco on CBS and NFL Network with coverage starting at 7:30. Football starts here. So Rex Ryan thinking quickly and sending Folk out for the field goal, and Folk converts. Rex in his 6th season with the Jets, the 4th straight year that he will miss the playoffs, and it seems like all indications are Rex Ryan will not be back with the Jets. And you know what? That is not necessarily the most popular opinion among Jets fans. There's a lot of Jets fans who would rather that Idzik is out the door than Rex, but it already seems like Rex will be a free agent coming up in a few weeks.
Well, for those of you who are new to the game, what happens is, and the dispute is, the general manager of just about every NFL team picks the players that supply the coaches with their roster, and the coach decides how those players are used and who plays. This roster with Rex Ryan, he went to the championship game twice with a rookie quarterback, Mark Sanchez, got there again in Mark Sanchez's second year, and as the roster has eroded around him, his team has suffered. And I think a lot of people know, I mean, when you get a guy who's a handful of plays away from getting the team to the Super Bowl, he's not the guy you want to get rid of.
And I had a chance. I got to know Rex. I played for the Arizona Cardinals when he was on the staff. I absolutely think the world of him, as all players do. He is a fantastic football coach. I think truly the most innovative and most impactful defensive coach in the NFL today.
Washington on the return out to the 20-yard line with 2:04 to go. Well, if you listen to talk radio or read the papers, there's a lot more venom for John Idzik these days than Rex Ryan. In fact, some Jets fans have even put up a billboard off Route 3 near MetLife Stadium. Fire Idzik or sell the Jets, a message to Woody Johnson.
Well, they do have, I mean, you think about a team that didn't upgrade significantly enough, and you look at the draft. Now, they did draft a few wide receivers, none of which are helping this team right now in a year when wide receivers are falling off the trees.
Also a website, firejohnidzik.com, and they're planning to hand out towels for fans who will go to the Patriots game next week as Locker is hit hard by Quentin Coples. And Jake Locker is down.
He had no idea the blitz was coming off the edge. He's got to be aware of that. And, man, he paid the price there. A big shot right as he let go of that football.
Locker in pain on the ground after the hit from Coples. It's the 2-minute warning. Will we see Charlie Whitehurst when we come back? Charlie Whitehurst is your quarterback for Tennessee right now as Jake Locker is off with an injury on 2nd and 10. Whitehurst nearly picked off by David Harris. Well, this is an all too familiar sight for Tennessee fans, and it's Jake Locker walking off the field. Here's the injury.
The pressure's coming here. Coples comes off the edge. This is on Jake Locker. The inside pressure is all picked up by the lineman. Locker's got to know there's pressure coming off the outside that is unblocked, not picked up. He was not aware, so he kind of brought that on himself. It's a terrible luck for him. Every time something bad can happen, it does happen to him, but that's one he brought on himself.
3rd and 10, screen to Washington, and he is tackled for a 2-yard gain, and Tennessee will have to punt. Jets have 3 timeouts remaining.
And Sheldon Richardson, the big guy, getting on the outside to stop that screen pass. Charlie Whitehurst, all too familiar, is actually his numbers are probably in the limited work he's gotten are better than Mettenberger's and Locker's for the season. But Charlie Whitehurst, even by his own admission, is not the guy that they're looking for to be a long-term solution at quarterback. He is a stopgap guy. Ken Wisenhunt brought him over from Arizona because he knew, or from San Diego, excuse me, last year, and knew he would help the offense, help those other 2 guys pick up the offense.
So the Jets did call one of their timeouts. They have 2 remaining with 1:44 to go. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Tony, Bart Boomer, and Coach Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights, as well as a preview of a special Thursday Night Football doubleheader this Saturday on CBS and the NFL Network. That's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. That's Zach Mettenberger in the hat. He is injured, the rookie 6th-round pick out of LSU, and one of the many decisions the Titans have to make in the offseason. Is he their guy moving forward? Curley with the catch at the 24, and he goes out of bounds. So 2 timeouts for Geno Smith and the Jets, 1:36 on the clock. But if you're a team and you're looking at Jake Locker as a free agent, it's hard to commit a lot of money to him when the guy just can't stay on the field.
We've spent a lot of time talking about Jake Locker on our own this week, and the whole point of this last 3-game stretch for him was to show he could play 3 consecutive games without getting hurt. And he gets halfway through the first game, and that looked like a significant injury to me right there. I don't think he'll be back today, and that is going to seal the deal as far as the mentality other teams have about Jake Locker.
It's a shoulder injury. His return is questionable. Jason Amaro makes the catch and some room to run. Out of bounds at the 44-yard line. Amaro missed the last 2 games because of a concussion, a gain of 20.
Yeah, and you talk about the Titans, and it just gets worse and worse on the injury front. And that play right there, unfortunately, for all the things that have happened to Jake Locker, being drafted here, having a 4-year career here, that was probably his last play as a Tennessee Titan.
Geno running left and runs out of bounds at the line of scrimmage, chased by Wilson and Morgan.
So when you talk about Geno Smith and what's going on at his, we met with him yesterday, and that's the first time I've had a chance to really sit and talk with him. I was very impressed with how he carried himself, how he was accountable to the areas where he's come up short. His consistency is something he knows he's got to work on.
While Powell across midfield to the 48.
And I found him in general to be very, very impressive.
Jets called a timeout there, so they only have 1 remaining. As you see Rex Ryan, he celebrated his 52nd birthday yesterday, and he was excited when we met with him last night because he was going out to dinner with his dad, Buddy Ryan, who is at the game today. First time that Buddy has been to a game since the Jets played the Saints, and Rex went against his brother Rob. Johnson stuffed by Klug. And it's 4th down.
That was just played well by the Titan defensive front. There was just absolutely nowhere to run this football as he cut back into what should have been a crease in the defense. Klug gets around the reach block and turns it into a 2-yard loss.
And I don't understand why Ken Whisenhunt is not calling timeout here. He's basically saying, I just want to go to the locker room and end this half.
Well, I think that's a reflection on the Jake Locker absence. I mean, he's not going to put Charlie Whitehurst out there, and the first throw that Whitehurst made should have been a pick 6. So he's quite ready to come out in the second half and regroup.
I disagree. I mean, you can go for a block punt. You can have the punt snap dropped, and you may get good field position if you stop the clock. I think you should have used the clock.
Yeah, at least see what the return is, if there is one.
Exactly.
Cluster lets this one bounce, and it goes into the end zone with 13 seconds on the clock. NFL fans, order your holiday gifts from NFLshop.com to save 20% and get free shipping over $50 at the official store of the NFL. Well, Steve Tasker mentioned it, nearly a pick 6 by David Harris a short time ago off the Whitehurst throw.
Yeah, that was the fault of the receiver. That was, I believe, Salim Hakeem that was coming across the middle of the field. I'm sorry. My fault on that one. Who was that coming across the middle of the field? Nate Washington, 85, coming across, and that wasn't even looking for that ball.
What an entertaining first half. For a 5-3 game, there was actually a lot going on there. That's the end of the first half. Tennessee leads 5-3. We'll be back with the Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You are watching the NFL on CBS. Start of the third quarter in Nashville. The Titans lead the Jets 5-3. Time now for our Bose game changer. And it was Geno Smith in trouble in his own end zone. Jarrell Casey applying the pressure. And after review, it was ruled an intentional grounding and a safety. And right now, that is the difference in the game as Tennessee leads 5-3. A rather appropriate score for a pair of